The gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Cline, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Baker, I'm looking at your testimony about what should be done and how to regain leadership in the SEP-FRAN licensing process to make sure all SEP holders receive fair compensation for the use of its actual SEPs by all SEP implementers. And it's your testimony that both China and the EU have proposed oversight to remove the cloak and veil from SEP-FRAN licensing, provide guidance, and level the licensing playing field between SEP holders and SEP implementers. How does that give the Chinese a strategic advantage to remove that cloak and veil?
I don't necessarily agree with the process by which either of those entities are approaching the subject matter, but at least they're making an attempt to address how you identify a standard essential patent and also FRAND. Remember that FRAND commitment, and Mr. Copeland, I think, said about honoring contractual rights. When a patent holder, a SEP patent holder, makes an agreement into participate in a standard, they get a quasi-monopoly, which proliferates not only the standard, but also the use of their patent, which means they're addressing a much broader market. So the excuse me, the ability to actually define what is a SEP and also give some parameters, some guardrails around what FRAND means, I think those are advantages.
Now, your company manufactures modules for standards-compliant communication devices. Does your company pay licensing fees for SEPs as a result?
Yes, we're a proactive licensor, and one of the biggest frustrations we have is trying to license from Chinese companies such as Huawei and ZTE.
And do your Chinese-based competitors pay these licensing fees?
Nobody really knows, but I would say no, based upon the fact that they're selling a module, as I stated, that we can't even make it at, and they're making huge profits.
And so, obviously, that has a significant impact on your business when they're making these profits.
I would say that it's probably driving Western module manufacturers out of business. So if you want to have only Chinese providers of modules, that's the path you're on.
And when we consider what's happened recently with Chinese essentially intervention in the cell phone technologies and for lack of a better term, hacking into the cell systems of American companies, the pushing out of every other kind of manufacturer, I mean, this is getting worse, not better, correct?
Correct. I should add exponentially worse. It's an ever-evolving rate.
And so your company is an SME that implements a number of technical standards, and you have firsthand experience in the licensing of SEPs. And you walked us through the process of licensing SEPs for an SME. How do you assess the value of a particular SEP during licensing negotiations?
Yeah. Now, appreciate our method may not be one that's followed by every company. And the reason for that being a small, medium-sized company, we don't have a deep pocket to do a tremendous amount of analysis. But what we do is a statistically significant analysis. So when presented with a portfolio of 1,000 patents, we'll take 100 of them. We will independently look at those to determine both internally and through external experts on whether or not they truly read on the standard. The declaration that's filed by a patent holder, a SEP holder, into a standards association has zero relevance to its actual SEPness. So we actually undertake that burden to do that. That's unique in the industry. And we do it as it's an overhead cost, but that's the only way we can have an idea. One, are we actually using the patent in our product? And secondly, what would be a reasonable valuation because are the patents you hold incremental improvements? Or are they something truly monumental and early technology like millimeter wavelength coming out of 5G? That's brand new stuff.
Right.
That's going to be pricey.
And is there a way that you envision that we can improve the efficiency of this system? Or
if there was an ability to actually have a determination of whether or not close the loophole. You have a declaration put into a standards group where I believe it's going to be standards essential. You've got a patent over here in another dynamic system going through the patent evaluation system at the USPTO. The two never come together to determine SEPness. So you don't even know if that originally filed belief declaration has anything to do with the actual technology and the patent issued. So one thing that would be good would be to harmonize the issued patent with that original declaration and see if that technology actually made it into the standard.
Thank you. Yield back.
I thank the gentleman. We now go to the gentlelady from Pennsylvania, Ms. D.